Recently, I've been on a bit of a kick connecting my forever world. I built a very long minecart track and an even longer pathway. So keeping with the theme of making everything feel linked together, we are going to build a bridge across this entire ocean until we eventually hit spawn. So this over here is our starting point. It's on the shoreline of the great big ocean, and it's going to be the beginning of our ocean bridge. You okay there, buddy? Bit stuck? Yeah, go that way. Good job. The bridge is going to be built out of primarily prismarine blocks, all three types, as well as sea lanterns, of course, and that's for two main reasons. One, I've got a guardian farm, so I can have a good supply of the stuff, and also, it kind of fits the ocean theme, right? Now, of course, this is just one section of the bridge. We've got to repeat this a whole bunch more times to make our way across the ocean. Now, it's all well and good having a lovely bridge to walk across, but it's gonna get a little bit boring if we've got nothing to look at. So we need some points of interest. Even though this is meant to be an iceboat road, so I'm not sure how well we're actually gonna be able to see these things. We've still got a long way to go as far as building the bridge is concerned, but I am curious just how quick we can get to the end of the current one. Okay, it's actually a little bit slower than I remember. Yeah, we could have a good look at our surroundings here. And look at that. Smooth as you like. A lighthouse is a nice addition, I would say. Maybe doesn't make the most sense realistically. Usually they're on the shore, not in the middle of the ocean, but I guess we can pretend that it's warning off boats from crashing into the bridge. Nothing too fancy on the inside, just the amenities a lighthouse keeper would need, and then a way up to the top, of course. The issue I'm now facing with building more of the bridge is I am out of ice, and it takes quite a lot to build it. Which means a trip to the frozen ocean is very much needed. I'm running out of shulkerbox room, so that is gonna have to be enough, for now at least. Using all of that ice and the rest of our prismarine blocks, I was able to extend the bridge on outwards so that we're in line with our Sniffer Island, where Truffles is just chilling over here. And I've realised that the bridge itself isn't actually too bad to build, somewhat enjoyable even. It's just the pillars underneath the water that takes the longest, especially if there's a field of kelp, it just really gets in the way. But I'd say it's worth it because it means the bridge isn't floating, which is kind of important, I'd say. The bridge is now at a point where we're nearly losing the lighthouse to render distance. And I'd say that's a pretty good sign to say we need some more builds around. And yes, we've got Sniffer Island over there, but that's always been around. I want something new. And I'm thinking instead of building more stuff out of the water, I should probably build some stuff in the water. A little while ago, I saw this magical jellyfish forest being built by Meg Ray, who is a fantastic builder, by the way. And ever since then, I wanted to try my hand at building my own school of these blobby, colourful creatures. I like it, but I definitely think we're going to need more, as well as some other colours. They're all a bit too samey at the moment. There we go, that's better. Looks a lot more impressive at nighttime as well, I would say. They just glow that little bit more. And we don't only have the one school of jellyfish, we've now got two. Another slightly bigger one over here. And yes, okay, fine. An obligatory look with shaders on. As expected, it looks a lot better. Like most things in this game when you activate shaders. And it's really kind of nice to just swim around these things, which does give me another very small build idea we could do. It's a shark, or a dolphin, or some kind of underwater creature. It looks better from the surface. See? A lot better, right? Doesn't look quite as fat from this point of view, and you can kind of just see it lurking underneath the jellyfish. Pretty ominous, but also adorable. This next build is going to be less adorable. I wanted some kind of entrance across the bridge, and instead of just building a standard structure, I thought I could take some inspiration from Roller Coaster Tycoon, Planet Coaster, one of those theme park building games where if you had a themed attraction, you could get themed entrances. So this, let's say if you're going on a water ride, you've got two giant squid arms serving as that entrance, collapsing over the top of the bridge. Building natural looking shapes has never really been my area of expertise in this game. They look okay, you can clearly see they're meant to be tentacles, but the longer I stare at them, the less I'm a fan. So I think this will be the type of thing that's just a bit better at a quick glance. For example, going along an ice boat road. How fitting. I do think we are a little bit overdue a speed test just to kind of see the length of this thing and how we're doing. We zip by the lighthouse going at, I think, max speed now, coming up to Sniffer Island. Yep, that's long enough for me to quickly see that, and I'll be honest, I totally forgot to look at the jellyfish. Now I'm curious, how fast can I stop this thing if I want to just get out and have a look? If I press shift, does it just... Oh, it just stops. That's cool. I thought the boat would keep going. That's great, look at that. Ah, lovely jellyfish. Wow, so pretty. And then we carry on our way. We've still got a ways to go. Spawn is still a good 500 blocks or so in that direction, so back to bridge building. There is a reason as to why I've been building on this specific axis, and that is because it is perfectly lined up with our Guardian farm over here. This thing is where I've been getting all of my blocks from, and it's one of my favorite buildings in this world. It's pretty majestic, I gotta say, but currently there's no actual way to access it without using an elytra. I try not to make my builds reliant on elytra access. I know I always have these wings, but I think sometimes it's just nice to be able to walk up to a build, which really is part of the reason why I wanted to build this entire ocean bridge. But we're not there yet, we got a ways to go, and we have just come to this fairly flat piece of terrain pretty close to the surface, and I think it's going to be a pretty good spot to build something on. I really like the idea of building some kind of glass pod. Being able to be under the water without actually being submerged in water just seems kind of nice and cozy. Maybe that's not the right word, and it's definitely not what's happening right now. I am still very damp. There we go, that's better. Oh, I missed a spot. Nice, no more leaks. There is something about it though, right? You gotta admit. It does just feel very relaxing, being able to be under here without actually being soaking wet, watch the fish swim by, and you don't have to worry about the actual elements of the ocean. Having said that, if this were to be real life, I would be terrified either way. So maybe it's just a Minecraft thing. I thought I would build two copper domes and kind of have them meet in the middle in the actual track, but I'm just realizing that's going to require me to have to break the ice. And I don't know if that's going to mess up the boat at all. Let's do a test. We'll replace the ice with just some copper blocks for now. It's probably not going to look quite like this, but it will serve the purpose. And let's ram our boat and see if we can get all the way through. Okay, here we go. Is this going to slow us down? Oh, you know what? That's actually perfect. Just puts on the brakes a little bit so that if I want to stop, it kind of entices me to, you know? What we've got here is a classic two-man switch. We got two separate domes with two mysterious big red buttons just begging to be pressed. But because there's two of them, it means they both have to be pressed at the same time for whatever it is to activate. A little bit like a nuclear device, if you guys have ever operated on one of them before, you know what I mean. But obviously, this is my single-player world, so we will never know what happens if both of these buttons are pressed at the same time. And I've made a couple of satellite buoys, I'm calling these. Not sure what their purpose is, but I think it suits very well with the highly sensitive build we've made here. Very secret stuff. And now we are on the final push. We just have to make our way to the Guardian farm, go directly through the building, and then we are on the final part of the bridge to make our way from here, the entrance, over to spawn. that is the ice boat road all done, which I think requires a little bit of a test. See how fast we can really get across the world in this thing. Obviously there's a little bit of a slow gap, a slight lull in the bridge as we cut through the Guardian farm, but once we're back on this side, we start to pick up the speed again. You know what? I think this is actually a really good speed. Obviously, if it was too slow, I'd probably never use this thing, but this is quick enough that I actually may take this road from time to time. It's probably faster than my Elytra. And if I want to just take it a little bit slower to stop and look at the builds, it's pretty easy. Then we just get back on and continue on the way. The only thing is, whilst we've got a pretty fast path across the ocean, this is in the middle of nowhere. I've got no builds around this specific location. The base is a good couple of thousand blocks that way. And that's just not going to stand. There's no point in having this super fast ice boat road if I just have to walk 30 minutes to even get to the start point. So we're going to make another slightly smaller ice bridge this time, mainly because I'm running out of prismarine, all the way back to spawn. As you can see, simpler, smaller, and just generally less blocks, because that was pretty expensive. It is still going to work all the same. The boat just... Oh no, we fit. Okay. Might have to do something about that. But the boat's going to go along the bridge just perfectly alright. We're not going to be building any points of interest along this section of the Iceboat Road, at least not yet. Maybe at a later stage we'll come back and add some stuff in as we slowly expand the world. But the main reason is because a large chunk of this section is just through an entire mountain, so it did need some tunneling out, but thankfully on the other side was our base. There we go. We are now officially connected to the base. There is one slight issue though. Once we get through this tunnel, there's something on the left that I'm not exactly proud of. Oh, we missed it. What a shame, I can't show you. Now, I pride myself on keeping my world nice and clean and tidy, and these residue of mangrove trees are not that. I was kind of just hoping I'd never build this far out into my world and I wouldn't have to see them ever again, but obviously that's not really the case anymore. So, at long last, these 2-year-old mangrove trees are coming down. That is a job I've been meaning to do for a very long time. I am glad it's done now. I suppose there is only one final thing to do, and that is to take our Iceboat Road the entire trip. So starting here on Armadillo Island, we head through the biggest of the tunnels. This one is pretty long, as you can see. It does go on for quite a distance. Still not there. And then we get some fresh air before going in another tunnel, more fresh air, another tunnel, and that's it for tunnels, thankfully. Wonder if we can get this done before the sun sets. We're moving pretty quick. At some point we should be, yep, there it is, coming along to the ocean bridge. And then are we going to be able to slot through? No. Got a little bit stuck. Let's just have a very quick nap. Now we got a bit more room to work with here, which I honestly don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I do slide about a little bit more on this one, but we move at the same speed all the same. There's the lighthouse. I did try and slow down there. I think if I want to have a look at something, I'm going to have to exit out of the vehicle, so let's do that here. Look at our squid arms, very lovely, our beautiful jellyfish, and our shark down there. Then we can hop back in for the final stint. All we've got left are the copper domes. We can just see the boys bouncing along here in the water. Got ever so slightly slowed down there if I wanted to go actually into the domes, but I don't, not today. And we arrive at our Guardian farm. And of course the option is there if we want it to go all the way to spawn, but in all honesty I probably won't use this part of the bridge all that often. It's not really long enough to warrant getting a boat out. Does look pretty cool. I like this bridge. It's a nice addition. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.